Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Legal Matters, Kanuni Mashre, मैं इमरान रिजवी हूँ, आपका host and solicitor. As usual, हमारे साथ हमारे colleague होंगे, will be joining me in this lively debate and discussion about legal issues. First of all, आपसे apologize करते हैं, माजरत करते हैं, थोड़ा सा program में delay हो गया था, and due to some technicalities. However, हमारा program यहाँ है. We'll be discussing legal issues about litigation, representation and immigration matters. So अगर आपके पास कोई question or you feel that you've got something to talk about regarding legal issues, then you know where to call. Ring the telephone number which is coming on the screen, and also you can email us. So we'll be more than happy. आपको again ये कहूँगा that previously we had a number of emails come through, and our emails अपना short रखें to the point so that we can get back to you. And again, viewers से यही होगा, एक बात हम यही कहेंगे that inshallah we'll try to give you the best advice and try to help you in your issues. I want to welcome my colleague here, Raj Chopra sir.
Hello, how are you? Good evening.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And Raj, obviously we know because of time shortage, so obviously I want to discuss some of the legal issues. Basically, mashallah, you have an abundance of experience of knowledge of working in a legal framework for a number of years, in particular in the crime field.
Yes.
And can you just explain how, first of all, your kind of expertise you have? Just a little brief.
Yeah. I specialize in criminal matter majority of the time, but we also do immigration, family, road traffic matters, etc. And my major involvement is when anybody gets arrested at police station, and if they ask for me, or particularly ring my firm, and then we can represent that client at the police station.
So Raj, obviously you've been doing this for some number of years now, and so how many views have got? The message I want to give to the viewers that we have the expertise in immigration and criminal issues, criminal matters. So if you feel that there is a question, अगर आपके पास कोई issue है जो आप चाहते हैं discuss करना, then you speak to somebody competent who has legal knowledge and expertise. We're here to help you with that because we'll give you that service and advice. Raj, just coming back, so obviously you've been there for a number of years now, doing the criminal issues, criminal matters, and basically in related to court, magistrates court. थोड़ा सा ये explain करें magistrates court का system क्या, the procedural wise, and what is the cases when we go to, say, to the magistrate court, if somebody goes there. Just explain that a little bit.
If somebody is arrested at the police station for any criminal matter, and if he's remanded in custody because the sergeant, if he believes that there are substantial grounds the client will not attend court or will commit further offences, or any other issues the sergeant has, whether the address of the client is not verified, etc. If that client is remanded in custody, and then the next step is he will be in magistrates court, where all 98% of the cases are dealt with in magistrates court, and then we can apply bail.
Well, I'll come to that in a minute, Raj. You just explaining about the magistrate's process. Obviously, again, this is when you've been summoned by the police to appear by the Crown Prosecution, CPS your day. And that's when people will be going there. Well, obviously they need to get a solicitor first of all to get representation. Obviously they have an opportunity to call a solicitor as well.
That's right. At the police station, every person has a right to speak to an independent solicitor of their choice, which that service is absolutely free of charge, because it's not means tested, meaning no matter how much you earn, how rich or poor you are, you can speak to a lawyer free of charge. So if a person is arrested and he asks for a solicitor, if his own solicitor is not present, he can ask for a duty solicitor, which I'm also on a duty solicitor panel, and then the police officer, when we contact the police station, find out when the person is going to be interviewed, etc., then we attend, then the officer in the case will give us advanced disclosure and brief.
ठीक है राज, ऑफ कोर्स अभी आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे, व्यूअर्स को एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे मैजिस्ट्रेट कोर्ट में क्या होता है and what kind of rights a person does have before they get to it. मगर आप, can you थोड़ा सा मुझे explain, obviously I want the viewers to understand this. We're now talking about the criminal side. If you have a question on immigration, please put the question to us. We're more than happy to take that. आपको थोड़ा सा प्रोग्राम में बताता रहूँगा अभी जो न्यू changes आए immigration में वो भी बताएंगे इंशाल्लाह. I'll bring up today what the immigration changes are happening, so we will be discussing that. Just coming back, Raj, on the court and the criminal side of it. Can, for example, आप ये थोड़ा सा explain करें ना, bail जब होती है, bail application, how are we going to do that? I mean, for example, somebody's been arrested, and basically then what happens is now bail के बारे में बताइए. I want
if somebody's been arrested, he's been charged, and if he's remanded in custody by the sergeant, as I said, if he thinks there are some issues that he will not attend court, he will commit further offences, or for his personal safety he's remanded in custody, then the next step is he will be taken to the court at the first opportunity. Thereafter we attend at court, get advanced disclosures, get further information, liaise with the prosecutor and see what objections they have. Usually there are only 2 or 3, failing to attend court, commit further offences, etc. And then thereafter we try to meet those objections and try to get that client bail. For any reason the bail is refused, and then he'll be produced again at court within 7 days, and then we have another right to make an application if there are any changes circumstances, and then if it is refused we will obtain a certificate of refusal from the CPS.
It's coming back to that, Raj. कुछ bail में होता है, the conditions भी लगा सकते हैं. Obviously we know that the sometimes the police will say, well, we happy to give bail, but some conditions on it.
Yes.
So explain the condition और उनकी क्या होती हैं, what kind of conditions can be put on a person?
Yeah. Well, the conditions can be depend on what objection the prosecution has.
Yeah.
And the conditions, for example,
like harassment, or let me give you an example. Like an harassment case, domestic violence harassment case. What kind of a?
Yeah, they will make a condition not to contact the complainant, obviously, to protect the complainant, not to go to
that vicinity,
her house up to 100 yards or whatever, or not to enter that area at all, in that borough, etc., to protect, so he doesn't commit further offences. So if those are the objections, then there are various bail conditions can be imposed, so to protect the complainant as well as not to commit further offences.
Very good. So मैं अपने जो व्यूज़ हैं नाज़रीन, आपको ये अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन हो रिगार्डिंग, अगर आपके पास कोई इस तरह का कोई केस हो जहाँ पे आप फील करते हैं आपके पास कोई पुलिस समन्स है, or any issues regarding any appearance in magistrates court, then you need to contact somebody who's competent, a solicitor preferably, who can advise you and correctly and take the case and help you. We're more than happy to listen to you and take your cases if there is any issues regarding this. Raj, again, bail के बारे में, I was going to ask you, like a bail refused, what happens in that circumstances?
If the
bail has been refused.
If the bail is refused at the magistrate's court, obviously we will obtain the certificate of refusal from the Crown Prosecution Service, and then we will lodge judge in chamber bail application in Crown Court, and hopefully we will be able to secure bail for our client.
In other words, in the first stage in the magistrate's court, and if somebody feels that they've not got a bail not be granted, then that stage will be taken into the High Court, you're saying?
No, Crown Court.
Crown Court, that's right. So in that Crown Court, then you'll put the application.
That's right. It's called Judge in Chamber Bail application, where it will be heard with the prosecutor and the judge, but no public is present and no client will be present. And then we again try to meet all the objections put forward by the Crown Prosecution Service.
अच्छा, थोड़ा सा आप ये उर्दू में बता सकते हैं, because obviously some of our viewers last time they said they wanted to hear that. जी, अब मैं कॉल लेता हूँ राज, फिर आपके पास आता हूँ. जी, हेलो. वालेकुम सलाम. वेलकम टू द लीगल मैटर्स. कौन कहाँ से?
जी, मैं खादिम हुसैन कर रहा हूँ मैनचेस्टर से.
जी जनाब.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, इंग्लिश में होगा या
जो भी, whichever language you feel comfortable. जो भी आप.
I have no difficulty either way.
Okay, fine. You fire away then.
Yes, okay. I have not a traffic offense, but relating to traffic category. I was charged. No, my wife was charged for abuse of disabled badge. Is a parking offense. And we could not afford to hire a solicitor, and I was there in the court to represent her because she has inability to represent herself in English, even though the opportunity of interpreter was available, but there's a legal juggles that one who knows about how to, perform in the court of law. That is a professional matter. So I went and I was refused, and the magistrate was very shouting at me, and he didn't allow me to speak. Anyhow, he allowed me to speak to the clerk of the court, and he sat behind the door. And then I argued the prosecutor and the clerk of the court, and I made the law reference that the case is not in the capacity that the prosecution is pursuing, because there's an offense of fraud is not being pursued, and the prosecution in the court of law is pursuing a fraud. And if it is a fraud, there's a procedure that the fraud should be reported to RPC, and it has not been done so. So therefore, that point is not been followed. So therefore, the prosecutor has no right. Then they gave us another date. So I have a cousin who's a Queen Counsel.
Okay.
By the way, he's a criminal lawyer. I spoke to him, and he said, when they are reject, you see, they are not going to allow you to represent you, and I am not in a capacity as a Queen Counsel to appear in the lower court. And then, you see, the point is that I reported the magistrate to the tribunal that he has a very aggressive attitude to me, which is deprived of my fundamental rights. And my question is that I have previously represented my wife before the district circuit judge and district judge, and even a high court, in a district high court in Manchester, and the Lord Justice has allowed me to speak on her behalf. And I don't understand, the lower court, magistrate court has disallowed me, please. Can you elaborate on this, if you can?
Thank you very much. Shukriya. It was a very long question that was, but we had the background to it. Raj, clearly this is a traffic offence, abuse of the badge, circumstances, but he was mentioned that he's obviously had the opportunities to represent him previously, but on this occasion he was refused, and obviously feels a bit hard done on this one. Obviously he's reported about the conduct of the magistrates, which he has a right to do so if he feels that he's been shouted at. But let's go to the legalities now. It's a legal discussion, Gardi. Obviously it is a serious charge.
Of
abuse
course,
of
every criminal matter is a serious charge, no matter how trivial it is.
Carry on.
And the question was, why couldn't he represent his wife at magistrate's court? Obviously, he hasn't got a right of audience to represent somebody. He could attend as a Mackenzie man. I mean, he could advise the wife to say whatever she wants to say, but he can't represent, because you need a lawyer to represent somebody at the court. So that was one issue, that he didn't have right of audience. Obviously,
can I just come in? He did mention it when the call did mention that previously he had the opportunity to represent. He never had that problem. So it seems to be a double kind of a conflict going on. One time you're allowed, and another time you're not.
No, again.
That's why he, according to the telephone.
I think in the interest of justice, it depends on which court you are, and magistrates would hear both. I mean, they will give you the right of audience to speak. However, as I understand, he says in high court, etc. Those are civil matters, and
I think it would have been county court would be different.
County court
may be different. He probably would have had the opportunity
again,
to do.
as a Mackenzie man,
he
could attend. Maybe he misunderstood, but with greatest respect, all the magistrates are very experienced, very good, and they are very flexible as well. They have a discretion to allow somebody to
Sure.
represent. You don't need a lawyer to go to court. You can represent yourself, but obviously it is better if a legal person with a lot of background experience is there to represent somebody. It's always seek advice. Obviously this matter was a summary offense, abuse of using a disabled badge. The sentence, as I see, will not be more than imposing some financial penalty.
Sure.
Right? Otherwise, if every court has a duty solicitor present, if the criteria is if the person is going to be going to receive custodial sentence, and then he can free of charge represent that person at court as a duty solicitor, and should that matter proceed further or it's adjourned for sentence, etc., and if that person is eligible, legal aid will be applied, depending again two tests to pass. One is in the interest of justice and one is a means test. So in a nutshell, if you don't have a right of audience, you can't represent anybody. You can go there to court as a Mackenzie man, but your wife could speak to you and you could advise her and she could tell the court. But as I said, magistrates are very flexible, very trained people, and they have discretion to allow you to speak on our behalf. As you said, they allowed you to speak to the clerk of the court, which is very
I think
good.
he did not. Also, the fact that he's not going to be interpreting and translating. So there's a let's have a distinction between that.
Even though he cannot translate on behalf of his wife because there's a conflict of interest.
Correct.
If that is the issue, the court will adjourn the case and arrange interpreter to the court to represent his missus.
So I was thinking in general, he could have asked the clerk, the usher Jode, and said, look, I will be representing my wife, and can you put that to the judge on the hearing? Magistrate, and maybe he will consider it. But I think they've probably felt in this incident that they wanted somebody legal to be covered because of the charge they were having. And
I don't know how the case was concluded. He said that it was adjourned, hopefully. Whether it was used genuinely, the badge, what happened, I don't know.
I think, Tika, right, I hope that's been some satisfactory answers you've received. But however, if you have any issues relating to this and you want to take some more advice on this, well, we'll be more than happy to take that case and listen to you. You can email us. Our email address is going on the screen. We'll be more than happy to do so. Agar आपके पास कोई ऐसा situation आता है where you feel that there's an issue relating to magistrates courts or any issues like that, or immigration matter, then please email us and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. Raj, time as you say, obviously we did have a short program today because of the start of the program. Just थोड़ा सा अभी explain करेंगे आप the type of offences, like for example हमारे होती summary offences, either way offences, indictable offences. Just I want you now to just बंदों को बताने की. So when you receive something called summary offence, what does it mean, and what does it carry?
Right, summary offences they can only be dealt with at magistrates court because such as section 39 common assault, criminal damage less than £5,000 in worth of damage caused, etc. Those are all the road traffic matters are dealt with at magistrates court. There are summary offences, and then there are some either way offences such as section 47 assault. Again, criminal damage if it is more than £5,000, depending on the facts of the case.
So that be classed as ABH.
Yes,
actual bodily harm. That's section 47.
And those offences are either way, either they can be dealt in magistrates court or in Crown court. After hearing the case from the Crown and representation made by the legal representative of that client, the court will decide whether they have enough sufficient sentencing power to deal with this case in here. I'll give you an example. Section 47 assault it can be dealt in magistrate court or in Crown court, but somebody's on the floor, he's been kicked 6-7 times, and that person used his leg as a weapon. And obviously more harm and injuries are done to cause to the complainant, and then obviously they're going to decline the jurisdiction to send this case to the Crown Court to be dealt with there. And then it will be listed for either preliminary hearing or plea and case management hearing. where the guy, the client will enter pleas, etc., and then if he's not guilty, then it will proceed to a trial.
And this comes under the offences under the Persons Act 1861, isn't it?
Yeah.
Under the Acts.
Yeah, and then the indictable offences are very serious offences which can only be dealt in Crown Court, such as murder, rape, and under Section 51 Crime and Disorder Act, these cases will be sent straight to Crown Court.
Absolutely. So coming back on this, you just Section 47, this is wounding with intent and causing fear to that person. Those are the serious issues.
Yes.
What about GBA Section 18? Was very serious again.
Yeah, Section 18 is, in fact, it's just below murder. Somebody actually wanted to cause, serious injury to a person. And again, did he plan it? Did it just happen, etc.?
So these are very serious. Again, I got a views. Aapke paas koi issue hai. If you got some issues relating to this matter, then you know where to contact. We'll be more than happy to take your calls, and we're here to give you the basically information, advice on legal matters, criminal or immigration. So Raj, I'm just going to ask you relating to ye jo cases hai abhi, for example, we were just talking about these road traffic incidents and people get done and they get these penalties. Now, how can you help somebody who's been who's got done for speeding, so that they can put mitigating circumstances if it's been a first offence or second offence, for example, they can go on a training course?
Well, it depends on a sliding scale because no speedometer is accurate. There's a 5% tolerance, and if the speeding is, suppose somebody is driving in a zone of 40 miles an hour and the speeding was more than 45, or if it was less than that, the police can offer driving awareness course where no points will be imposed, and if the speed is more than that, obviously they will send Section 172 notice who the driver was, and then if that a person does not furnish the information within 28 days, he commits another offence for failing to provide the information for that. The court could impose, court will impose 6 points and may fine up to £1,000. So I will advise, always provide the details, be honest, these things don't go away, and don't give any false details because it will be checked by the police, and 9 out of 10 times if it is a speeding matter, you will get away with a fixed penalty and 3 points depending on what speed it was. So I will say always provide the details, comply with the 28 days to furnish the information who the driver was, and that matter can be dealt with in that way. And if you don't, then you face to have 6 points.
वैसे भी कॉल आ रही है, उसे शामिल करते हैं वेलकम, हेलो, कौन कहाँ से?
जी हेलो, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
जी वालेकुम सलाम। Can I have your name? आप अपना नाम बताएंगे जनाब?
Yeah, my name is Shah.
Okay.
Can I ask, I'm having some trouble with HMRC, Her Majesty Revenue and Customs.
जी
they have made many mistakes in calculating my tax, and it's all very well documented. I am actually planning to sue them.
Right.
Can you help me how to do that and what to do?
Okay, Mr. Shah, just very briefly, can you just explain? You said they made some errors in calculations, you said in your HRMC. They made a mistake in that. Can you just explain that, please?
Yes. Well, I actually work full-time for a hospital, for NHS. And I receive my salary after deduction from the hospital. And then I got a letter from HMRC that there was mistake in the tax calculation, and I need to pay £9,000 to them.
Okay.
Then I did some calculation, and I found out that actually it's their own mistake. And a couple of documents were missing, so I asked HMRC to give me duplicate of those documents. So they sent me a duplicate copy.
Yeah.
And by that time, I found the original one as well. So in original document, there was a different calculation. In the duplicate, it was different documentation. And then when I asked the HMRC that there are mistakes in their calculation and I do not owe £9,000. And they said, okay, whatever you owe, you just give it to them.
Okay.
I asked one of the accountant to help me.
Right.
And I paid fees to him.
Yeah.
He did calculation and he found that yes, it is a mistake of HMRC. But this HMRC is keep coming with various documentation, and every time they send me a different letter with different calculations. It has given me such a stress.
Okay, so Mr. Shah, sorry to interrupt you.
Had quite a lot of trouble.
I understand. Thank you for your question. I think we've got your question. Time because of a shortage, we're running out of time actually. But I think we've got the gist of yours. You've been stressed out. You've got an issue. Raj, quickly, time give us. I'm going to try and speed this up. He has an issue with the HMRC, right, with a wrong calculation, £9,000. He did get an accountant's view on it. Accountant said there was some errors being done. He wants to sue them. Obviously, it's a very serious kind of a challenge onto that. He wants to take it further. What would you like to say on that?
Well, I will say that whatever the issues are, if you write and if you think they calculated wrongly your income tax, if you have an accountant, I'm sure he will write to them. They will clarify. Customer excise people are very good, very flexible. They will listen to you. I think there's maybe misunderstanding. Clarify through your accountant. And as you say, you want to sue them, well, that's a separate issue. You got to seek legal advice on that matter. But my advice is, if you think that wrongly the tax was calculated, that's the accountant's job. And then he can put forward exact true figures which you are liable to pay tax on, or the tax is owed by you. So I will say, speak to your accountant, tell him everything, and let the customer excise HMRC to get back to you, and they are very good. Make an appointment, go and sit with them rather than writing letters and justifying things, and hopefully they will resolve this matter. In relation to suing, that once this matter is sorted out, obviously you have right to make a complaint, etc., and then it can be taken further. You got to seek legal advice independently from somewhere else.
Yeah, if Mr. Shah wants to take this case, and if he wants to give us the particulars, we'll be more than happy to help him and advise him. You've got our email address, you can contact us. Raj, I think we're just running out of time now. Basically, I just wanted to say that obviously we're going to continue with our criminal issues. And if people want to contact us, and we'd be more than happy to take the calls, and more than happy to take emails, then they can contact us directly with our numbers. अगर आप चाहते हैं हमें कांटेक्ट करना, आपको ये जो हमारा स्टूडियो है इससे आप कंट्रोल रूम से नंबर भी ले सकते हैं. वी बी मोर देन हैप्पी. एंड जस्ट कमिंग ऑन द इमिग्रेशन इश्यूज, मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बताता चलूँ that थोड़ा सा चेंजेस आ गए. इमिग्रेशन रूल्स आर गेटिंग वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग एट द मोमेंट, स्ट्रिक्ट हो रहे हैं. And because of हमारा जो issues are related to immigration as well, because of the new legislation the government is trying to bring this through, like landlords उनके बारे में, they want the landlords to be vetting out the tenants, and that's one issue is going to happen. Restrict access to bank accounts for people जो country में या रह रहे हैं जिनका या कोई legal status नहीं, उनको restrict करेंगे. They're going to do this. But this is ये भी चल रहा है, MPOं से बात हो रही है इस पे. Nothing has been definite on this one. And again, foreign जो criminals, anybody who's an illegal immigrant also यहाँ has been found in any kind of criminal activities, also यहाँ से पहले वो deport करेंगे और फिर उसका hearing, उसकी appeal होएगी, not in country but be deported. इस तरह से बहुत सारी changes आ रही हैं rules के अंदर. And और इनका basically यही है कि आप जो immigration के issues हैं आप हमसे contact करें अगर आपके पास कोई issue होता है relating to immigration matter or anything to do with litigation or representation or criminal matter, so be it. We'll be more than happy to help and advise you. Time run out हो गया. आप सबका मैं शुक्रिया करता हूँ. Myself, Imran Rizvi, and my colleague Raj Chopra will be here next week, inshallah. With the full hour we'll give you. Do apologize for the delayed start program, but inshallah we'll make it up next week. So keep contacting and keep watching Legal Matters and Hidayat Kanuni Mashware. आइंदा की इजाज़त है. Thank you. शुक्रिया.